5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Weekend confirmed.
Ignition. Liftoff. Liftoff. 30 minutes.
Hey guys, welcome to this week's Weekend Confirmed Question of the Week for me, and it comes from Medic Mechanic. If you want to get your question in, send it to us on shacknews.com, over Twitter, or send it by carrier pigeon or something. I don't know. One day we're going to do some video questions too. Ryan and I have talked about this. We just haven't gotten that done yet. One day, coming soon. Webcams. So Medic Mechanic asks, what sort of problems arise from reviewing an online-centric game, like Brink, versus a single-player one, and how do you address them? Well, I mean, clearly the big problem is how do you review an online game in a pre-release environment. So what happens a lot of times is the publishers will set up a play session or 2 or 3 for us. The thing that has always made this a difficult thing for me is that you're always playing with the developers, and it also presumes, or doesn't presume, it also sets up a situation where everybody knows how to play the game. Now in some games that's not a big deal. You know, if it's Call of Duty, there's not that much to know. But a game like Brink brings out this element of, well, if you're playing with other reviewers who have learned how to play the game, if you're playing with developers who've learned how to play the game, you get a very controlled sort of situation. And it's important to me, I think, to see the real world impact, to see, hey, what's going to happen when this game really comes out? The other sort of game you get into trouble is an MMO. So an MMO, you're like, well, how are people really going to level up? How well are all these job classes going to work with one another? And I think that that's actually overcome better because almost all MMOs have long beta periods. And during that beta period, you get a lot of tuning that's going on. You get to see a lot of like what the process is of, oh, they put in this buff, or they debuffed this, or they changed the way this score system works, or the way this combat system works. And you really see the evolutionary process. And if we applied that maybe to some of the shooters or other online games, it would be very interesting to see if that gave us a better picture when release time came of what the game is going to be like. So I think, I think your question's probably built around a lot of people weren't really sure what they were getting with Brink when Brink hit, and then once it did, there was a lot of, obviously very polarized opinions. You even saw in my review that, I think there are pieces of it that as much as I had played it before release, I hadn't seen where some of those weak spots were, and they really didn't become evident until I got to see it, with live people and everybody else playing it. So it's tough. Single player game, of course, you just take it home and play it. It's really simple. The game is there. You have an opportunity to really get into it. You see all the content, and it's the content that you would buy when you get the game on day one. So 2 sorts of things, and the real thing we need to overcome is how do you get people to be accepting of reviews that aren't on day one, or understanding that if you get a review on day one, it can really only cover the single player environment. We had a big debate over that. I think everyone's seen on Twitter. So now you know where we stand. Hope you'll send in your questions to Weekend Confirmed on our Facebook page, Twitter, or on shacknews.com. And until next week, thanks very much.